apocalypse, Mr. Mannheim.
Who are you?
Your new lord and master. You may call me Darkseid.
Ho, 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 everybody. No, that's not expired eggnog all over your hands. It's just Spidey's sticky web fluid. You're listening to Darkside's Couch, and this is James.
A sticky web fluid if you're lucky. This is Mike.
I'm disgusted.
It's
And Shée.
It's probably edible.
Shée, you saying you can't even?
No, I said I'm disgusted and Shée.
Yeah.
That's like being can't even.
She was able to this time.
Yeah, I was able to. Don't put the can't even in my mouth.
Well,
That's where the web fluid goes.
yeah, that's where a hearty dose of juicy, sticky web fluid. It's biodegradable, people. It's okay. You can digest it. It's going to be fine.
Yep.
I don't know, man. It's Christmas.
Yep.
It's after Christmas, actually, technically. For people in the future, it's the day after Christmas.
Ooh.
Yeah. So everything's expired. You've kicked out your relatives.
Yeah, you're not listening because you're in line returning the gifts.
All your shitty gifts that you got from the shitty people in your life who don't love you well enough to think hard about a proper gift.
Adults shouldn't be getting gifts.
Adult, nah, you can give people gifts.
No, Christmas is for children.
No. Gifts are great.
You guys are
Yeah.
children.
It makes you
No.
feel good to give. It makes you feel good to receive. It
doesn't.
feels good. Yeah,
Yep.
it does.
That
Well,
doesn't.
I'm sorry.
I
I
love
forgot to
giving
check in with
gifts.
Mike before I figured out what my feelings were.
Speaking of getting gifts and giving gifts, I had a bunch of classic video game stuff at my folks' house, and I'm trying to convince them to sell the house and move. So I collected it all and went over to my buddy's house who loves video games, and I gave them all to him. And so he felt obligated to give me something back, so he gave me just bushels of weed.
Cool.
Okay, that seems like something you would enjoy.
I mean, yeah, it's fine.
When
It's just
somebody gives you
weird.
It's a Christmas miracle.
He was like, "Please take this trash from me."
when somebody gives you a gift that's actually relevant to your interests and makes your life better, that says they thought about you. That feels good for us humans.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put myself in that category of human.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. That's mostly the exploratory mission of this podcast, is to teach Mike what it's like to be a human being.
No, I'm an ethereal internet person.
Oh, I just got a text that came down. Normally, I keep everything muted because normally I don't want to, that going off. But just got a text that came down. Has a drooling face emoji, one pill, and fuck hard all night. Purplegenus.com. So there you
right.
go. You check that out. Maybe we'll
That's
get a
all right.
sponsorship.
Wow.
Yeah, all right.
No, I don't think Christian Love Toys would approve that.
Maybe we'll have to work on the language a little bit.
Oh,
but I'm pretty sure.
Speaking of ads,
I was hoping that would work. I was hoping that transition would work.
I got a free sample of the Primal Alchemist warming and cooling CBD pain relief cream, and I did actually try it. I have a rec tendon in my arm, and it worked, and I was able to work out pain free. And I'm told it's not specifically made to jack off with, but can you? You probably can. PrimalAlchemist.com.
It's the only substance you can both jack off with and smoke, probably. You could probably figure out a way.
CBD? I don't think you get high from CBD. I think it's just like a
Isn't
thing.
CBD, it doesn't have the THC. Is that
the
correct?
psychoactive chemical in it.
I don't know
Right.
about this. But yeah, I was actually looking at their Facebook page, Primal Alchemist, on Facebook, and I was looking at it because usually when I have something to promote or bring up on the show, Mike does whatever he can to torpedo it. And I was just going to do the same thing, but then I saw they have like dog treats and stuff.
No.
And I thought
You
that
can
was kind of
torpedo
cute.
it. I don't care.
I don't want to torpedo it. They're probably nice people.
I did what I said I was going to do. I mentioned the name of the thing. I said that I used it, and I mentioned the website. I'm done.
Wow.
And I made a joke about jacking off with it. Those are the 4 things I wanted to do.
Your commitment to this is incredible. It's just seamlessly integrated. But no, it looks like a good product.
Made with weed.
Primal Alchemist. We'll put a
Thank
link.
you.
Yeah, we'll put a
to
link up.
Primal
There
Alchemist.
we go. We did it. We got a sponsor.
Primal Alchemist sounds like a band that would be on the Train Spotting soundtrack.
Oh, I was going to make that joke and I forgot to. I'm glad somebody picked it up.
That specifically from that movie?
No, I was going to say a doom metal band.
All right. Yeah.
Either or. They both work.
Definitely.
It both works. It's a band name. It's definitely a band name.
Or a Skyrim class.
What are the other classes in Skyrim or
Yeah.
Skyrim?
The game's kind of like
Scrim?
it's
I
kind of
don't know.
open ended. You can just make any combination of pretty much anything you want.
Spider people?
I guess.
Yeah, you can be Spider.
I've tried to start it twice, and I think that's like a smart person game where there's a lot of reading and remembering, and I'm like, those are the two things I struggle with the most.
Yeah, that's why I'm playing video games in the first place. I'm bad at that reading.
Yeah, right? What am I doing? Come
But yeah,
on
point
now.
is, we'll throw a link to the Primal Alchemist thing up every which way. We'll put it on YouTube. We'll put it on Twitter. We'll put it on wherever. If we're still even on Twitter, I don't even know if that's a thing anymore.
I don't know. I've definitely downgraded my responsibilities on Twitter, that's for sure.
I've been sending Elon Musk $8 every fucking day. I still haven't gotten my blue check mark in the mail.
Right?
We are recording this before Christmas. Shh, don't tell. But today, finally, the GOP took down that tweet that they did about where it said like Kanye, Musk, Trump.
Wow, the Holy Trinity.
The Holy Trinity. They finally took it down.
Why?
It was
what could you possibly do like that would make the GOP not like want to deal
Kanye
with you
said,
anymore?
"I like Hitler."
So what? Didn't
Wait.
like the Bush family paid for his rise to power?
Yeah, but they didn't say it. They didn't say it.
Yeah,
you can't
Mike.
say it.
He said it on the Alex Jones show.
No, he didn't. That's some guy in a mask did. Spider-Man did.
Yeah, it might have been Spidey.
Yeah.
Speaking of wonderful accomplishments today, I don't know if I ever mentioned it, but last year, Shée and I got assaulted in the parking garage here where we live. And ever since then, I have been on a holy campaign to get the parking management company kicked out of that garage. And today they're officially out. And so a couple hours ago, I sent a shitty email to the guy letting him know, hey, by the way, you got kicked out, and it's kind of because of me, just so you know. Like, I didn't
I
want
want
him
to
to
hear
not
it
know.
so bad.
Well,
I'll show it to you
we
later.
got kicked out for not doing his job.
He got kicked. Yeah, but had I not been pushing on it so hard and making a big stink about it and refusing to let it go, there's a good chance that they would still be there ripping people off and people getting fucking assaulted and stabbed in that garage. I'm going to pat myself on the back.
Dangerous north side that you're living in.
Yeah, it's weird because it's a good neighborhood, but it's got this shit garage because there's no other garages in the area. So if you live in this area and you don't want to park on the street, which is bullshit, nobody wants to park on the street, you're stuck with that garage, and they know that, and so they don't maintain it, and people get hurt, and it's destroyed. People fucking sleep and shit in it, and it's a fucking mess. And they don't care about it. And I'll say it, it's Laz parking, Laz, Laz parking. Fuck Laz. Fuck them right in the ear, and they're kicked out and they're gone.
Yep. Dark Side's Couch brought to you by Laz Parking.
By Laz Parking. No. Yeah, so they're gone, and I sent them a shitty email just to make sure that they understand that, hey, when I told you a year ago that I wasn't going to let this go until you guys got kicked out, that I was behind that. So just so you guys know that I definitely followed through on that.
Good for you. Nice
Yeah, I
little
feel
fuck
good
you
about
at
it.
the end there.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a little celebratory lunch. I felt good about it.
Proud of you,
Nice.
brother. Good
Yeah, I
for
feel
you.
real good about that. So yeah, 'tis the season.
Yep.
And this is
Already
what we're
Christmas again. Crazy.
It's Christmas, and we didn't know. This is lines right between Christmas and New Year's, and we didn't know which to do. So we spun a wheel for both, and we ended up on the Christmas side with Amazing Spider-Man number 314 from 1989.
Who's been banned for a year, along with Superman.
Unofficially, it was a soft ban.
It was.
Yeah, we didn't officially say Spider-Man can't come back, but we didn't want to see his fucking
Yeah,
face for a while.
we kicked him off of Twitter.
Did we? Yes, we deplatformed him. We don't need his controversial views.
You know, I'm surprised that since he has all these problems, like you'd think that like in the modern Spider-Man comics, that would be like a plot point. Spider-Man got deplatformed from Twitter.
Well, that's why he wears the mask where you can't see his face, because no one can identify him.
See,
He has to
maybe
be
that's
anonymous.
where Kanye West got that idea, allegedly.
I mean, in fairness, Spider-Man is from the 60s, so you expect he's going to say some outdated things.
Pretty sure Spider-Man's Jewish, so I don't think he would praise Hitler.
I'm trying to remember. That's a good point, because I know I've heard that before, but I don't know if that was ever confirmed or if that was just speculation.
But they trimmed the tree in this
I know,
issue.
but like, I
Yeah,
know
but
a lot
everybody
of-
likes a tree.
Yeah, I mean, everyone likes Christmas.
Yeah, it's awesome. Everyone likes Christmas and presents, and there's no further discussion about it necessary.
You know, that's
So-
actually a good point, Shea. Like, we've never had a Spider-Man Hanukkah comic, and here he is a Christmas one, so I guess he's not Jewish.
Yeah. So yesterday, for the first time, I saw Ernest Saves Christmas.
Oh, that movie's a classic.
Classic.
Yes, which is why I watched it. And it kids movie, over the top, et cetera, et
Family
cetera.
movie.
But there's just for no reason
Happy
whatsoever. There's a scene where he's in the car in the beginning. Ernest is driving. Santa's in the back seat, and Ernest reaches for something in the glove compartment. Opens it. There's a bumper sticker sitting there in it that says "Keep the Christ in Christmas."
Yeah, great.
Grabs it, whatever he needed out of the glove box, closes it back up, doesn't grab that sticker at all, and it's never mentioned.
Wow.
It's probably the director being funny.
What the hell? Because the cab number is 69.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a shitpost. That's the director that's trolling.
Like, what the hell?
Classic.
Like I got a bunch of like Christmas novelty shirts that say shit like that. Like one has the Virgin Mary carrying the baby, and it says like, absence is 99.9% effective. And I got another one that says like, keep Christ in Christmas.
What am I?
Yeah, back in the 80s, like you had to keep Christ in Christmas. That was a big deal. I remember an episode of the Golden Girls where one of them, I think Blanche, is talking about some, and these I think are her words. She says she's talking about some, quote, God-forsaken country where they don't even believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
And everyone else goes, oh, and there's like big gaspy moment. Like, God.
You know, like Christmas isn't even like you keep Christ in Christmas when Christmas is just Saturnalia.
Well, I mean, and the Christ is already there in Christmas. Like,
yeah, but like
You can't,
they just arbitrarily threw Jesus in his birthday there so that pagan people would stop celebrating Saturnalia and start having Christmas.
because Jesus is awesome.
Well, he wasn't born in the winter. Well, wasn't born at all. That shit's made up.
Whatever, you got to compete. Also, I think he was born. He existed. It's just
No.
whether or not he was
Prove
the
it.
Son of Man. I can't prove anything. Like, I can't prove anything in the world. That's how existence works.
No.
I did read today though that 96% of Italians are baptized.
Ah, sweet. I'm baptized.
Yeah.
You're not.
Nope.
So,
So,
you're defending Jesus, and like you're not even baptized. Why don't you go get baptized, and then you'll have a reason to.
I figure if I suck up enough, it's kind of the same
That
thing.
shit ain't real, bro. They like it's just a bunch of older stories. They just changed the
just-
names of people.
I just don't want to get baptized and then fuck up and have to go back and do it again. It's like when you get your car washed right before it rains. Like, I'm going to wait till I've done the worst thing I'm going to do, and then I'll get baptized.
I can see you getting like dunked for the baptism, and you get water in your nose, and you have a panic attack and freak out on the
I come up
reverend.
and start
Get
swearing.
waterboarded.
And you write a
come up and
nasty
yell
email.
at
Jesus
Obscenities.
waterboards you.
I got you kicked out of the seminary
Yeah.
because of what you did, and I did it. I just
And I
wanted
did
you
it,
to
and I
know
prob-
that.
And I do it again. And I probably will do it again.
I still got water in my ear.
Yeah, that was a problem for me as a kid. I had swimmer's ear.
Oh my god.
Took a while.
You and
I
Shée.
overcame it. Dude, it's called being a human being.
You and Shée and your weaknesses.
Oh, I am incredibly weak.
Don't be bragging about that. Come on, Shée.
I'm not bragging, I'm
We'll
confirming.
get you swole, dog. We'll start weight training.
Yeah, that's not the only way to not be weak. Mike, this weird like caveman macho thing is kind of embarrassing at this
and
point.
I'll teach you to fight, Shée. I'll teach you how to fight too.
It's almost 2023.
Teach me how to fight so I can beat James up.
I'll teach you how to scoop out an eye with your thumb.
Knowing how to fight is a valuable skill.
I mean, I don't want to do eye stuff.
That's how you win fights. No,
Why
no,
can't I just kick him in
the
the
cheap
balls?
win.
I'm a girl. I'm allowed to do that, apparently.
Women are absolutely allowed to
Men
kick
are
in the
allowed
balls
to
if they're
kick
threatened.
people in the balls. Protect your balls, stupid.
Men are not allowed to kick each other in the balls.
I'll
That's
kick a
rule.
motherfucker right in the balls if he's in my way,
You can't do it. You
preventing
can't do
me
it.
from getting what I want.
So Spider-Man, as we've established before, he wears little footy pajamas with really thin soles, and that's why he needs to swing around because it hurts to walk on the pavement. Yeah, that's
Never
Wait, is
hear-
that canon?
But you never hear him complain about it.
It's canon to the show. Yeah,
Fantastic, because I don't remember that.
he never complains about it. He sucks it up.
Because people already don't like Spider-Man because of the fake news about him, and he doesn't want to be known as a complainer as well.
It seems like the fake news isn't landing though, because he is the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. People seem to like him.
He calls himself that.
Yeah, I mean, branding is a powerful tool. This is from 1989. This is a book called Down and Out in Forest Hills, written by David McElhaney, art by Todd McFarlane, the team that brought us Venom.
Yeah,
Co-creators of
right.
Venom.
Cool.
And holy cow, I have not looked at a Todd McFarlane book in a long time. I used to read Spawn as a kid. I had like the first 100 and some issues of Spawn. And he's very stylistically adept, a lot of cool ideas, but man, at his level, he's maybe the worst visual storyteller I've ever seen. Like this book has so many weird design flaws where he just worries about things looking cool that you just completely get lost in what's happening.
I didn't notice any of that.
Yeah.
I'll show you as we come. It's
You better. You better.
He's a poor visual storyteller, but I will tell you, he's got some great ideas. He was the one who I mentioned this at the end of the last episode. He was the one who started having Spider-Man act more like a spider, which made sense with the weird crouches and poses.
Yeah, I like that.
He was the one who gave him the big eyes, the big spooky white eyes.
Yeah, I like
he
that
was
too.
Yeah, I like that too. He was the one who gave him the spaghetti webbing, where they shoots out webbing that's really busy instead of just being like a strand. It's really busy with all kinds of other, intertwined webs. He's also the guy that, decided Venom should have a big slobbery tongue and big teeth and everything like that. Like he did a lot of great monster work. He's just not much of a writer.
In the sequel to Spider-Man Spider-Verse, what's that movie called?
Into the Spider-Verse. Second one is Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Well, the sequel should have a version of Spider-Man who has spaghetti shooters, and he shoots spaghetti out of his wrists.
Like literal spaghetti.
Yeah, and he has an Italian accent.
Yeah, he has the Italian accent that Chris Pratt isn't using for
you
Mario.
fucking beat me to that joke, bro.
It slid on over to Spider-Man.
I was like, because there's always like a back and forth to doing this, so it's like, all right, I'm gonna get my thing in, and then James will get his thing in, but when it's back to me, I'm gonna make that Chris Pratt joke. God damn it!
Well, Shée got my band name joke out of Primal Alchemist.
We've been doing this too long. We all have the same jokes now.
Well, I also want to throw in
Joke
that
singularity.
that superhero's name will be the Amazing Spaghetti Man, as opposed to Spider.
Yeah. I love that show. Can you guys believe that?
No, I can, absolutely.
Tim and Eric,
You're
awesome
probably a fan
show.
of
Great
Tim
job,
and Eric,
show.
yeah. I have actually never to this day sat down and really. I've seen many, many bits and pieces, many, many sketches that I've loved. But I've never just sat down and just watched the show from tip to taint.
I like it. I like it better just seeing the individual sketches. Like when they're when you have to sit down for like 15 minutes. So sometimes it's kind of overwhelming.
15 minutes. Yeah, it isn't overwhelming. It's a sensory overload.
Yeah, so like little sketches.
I can
here and
do
there is
Crimbus, and that's.
Oh, the Crimbus
extent.
special. Oh, yeah, definitely got to watch the Crimbus special.
Some of them are pretty gross too. Like they get pretty gross.
They're super gross. Yes, the Crimbus special is a little tough to watch, but it's great.
Or that cartoon they did before that, Tom Goes to the Mayor. That was upsetting.
Tom Goes to the Mayor is fun. I've watched a bit of that on HBO Max lately. The bedtime stories, Tim and Eric bedtime stories. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
That was gory.
Tim Heidecker's Yellow River Boys.
All his albums are really good.
He's got a lot of good albums.
His more serious albums are fantastic.
Yeah. He's a talented dude. He acknowledges the fact that I've read an interview with him where he acknowledged the fact, like, yeah, I don't expect people to be able to take me seriously. I've spent years being a weird, avant-garde comedian. Of course, when I put out a serious record, people are going to think it's a work, but I'm telling you, it's not.
Yep.
And he's had to uphill climb on there, but it's a lot of good work.
That guy has a primal sadness.
Yeah. I saw that comedy movie. What is it? The Comedy?
Or something. Just like
that's a tough movie.
Just
to watch.
like that's the.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I just mean as like a comedian, like that guy. Like you could tell, like he's depressed as a person in general.
Well, that's what that movie is. I think it's called The Comedy. It's a Tim Heidecker movie where it's basically about the comedian. No, I think it's called The Comedy.
Maybe
it's The Comedy, and it's about a dude who fucked off all his life, and he's just stuck in his middle-aged sadness.
Yep, there we go.
Yep. Maybe if somebody would have given him some thoughtful presents, he would have gotten out of that.
Nah, I don't need no presents.
So, on the cover here, we've got Spider-Man and Mary Jane getting kicked out of their apartment complex, and Santa Claus just watches.
Yeah, the cover implies that the landlord literally kicks Spider-Man out on his ass, and he's just always dressed as Spider-Man, like he's the Tick.
Which is interesting because in this book, we'll see he just keeps his Spider-Man costume on under his normal Peter Parker costume.
Yep. And well, I mean, we see why. Like, it makes sense for him to do that.
I guess.
I just realized Spider-Man in this pose is kind of doing the infamous Catwoman pose.
Oh, yeah.
With butts up?
Yeah, the butts up, but his is a little bit more realistic looking.
Spider-Man is probably the sexiest of all
pretty much the same
of all the Marvel Comics characters.
Who's sexy in male or female?
Yeah, in male or female. Spider-Man was probably the sexiest.
Speaking of Black Cat's pretty up there.
I don't know.
She's a good-looking lady.
Peter Parker, oh my goodness.
He's got a tight little butt.
I know, he's got a tight little butt. And he does things altruistically.
Yeah, he tries. He's trying real hard. Some would say too hard. That would be me.
His moral compass is spot on.
He really is trying to do the best he can in the situation for the most part.
Yeah, right? You never see him smoking or drinking? There's never an
Yeah,
arc
yeah.
about Peter Parker like fucking up his life with like drugs.
He's a good boy. He's a
Although
good boy.
his metabolism, because of his spider powers, would make it so he could do a lot of drugs.
He could probably metabolize it very quickly, but it would upset the consistency of his webbing.
I was about to say, do you think he ever just got like ship based and then threw webs to see what they would like, what they look like versus he's a scientist.
Well,
That versus sober.
at this point, his webbing was he literally made it. It was web shooters. It wasn't until the Sam Raimi movies
That's
gave him
right.
organic web shooters that they changed it in the comics. Whereas he became more in touch with his spider spirit.
Wasn't he literally reborn
Yeah.
out of like
Yeah,
a spider
yeah.
thing?
Stuff.
It was.
Who was that? That was J. Michael. What's his face? Wasn't it?
JMS, I don't know. It could
I
have
think
been.
it. I think it
I
might
had
have been
checked out of
JMS.
Spider-Man at that point.
The web shooters in the arms thing is from Spider-Man 2099.
It's interesting. Now, another thing about Spider-Man 2099 is I think by the 90s, everyone gotten sick of how hard it was to draw Spider-Man's costume with all those lines.
Yeah.
And then you see all the variations in the 90s, like Spider-Man 2099 and Ben Reilly as Scarlet Spider and everything. They got rid of all that.
Yeah.
I think the artists were really, really sick of drawing all that webbing on the face, especially. Oh my God.
Like Spider-Man 2099 looks like he'd be a pain in the ass to draw.
Let's take a look at Spider-Man 2099.
I mean, he's got a web cape. The first 10 issues of that comic book is from the 90s is fantastic.
you can kind of fake that webbing a little bit. I think that's easier to draw than all the lines on the face.
Like why they haven't made that into a movie, I have no idea. It's
We'll
like
get to
one of
it.
the best arcs in comics. Period.
We'll get to it. Yeesh. So, on this splash page for this intro, here's an example of what I'm talking about here. This is a page where this landlord, or I guess the landlord's representative, is ejecting Peter and Mary Jane from their apartment complex, but you wouldn't know it because the entire panel is focused on the dude's coat.
Yeah.
And Peter and Mary Jane are shoved off to the side. And by the way, Aunt May is there too, and you can barely see her because she's hidden behind a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So if you were to open this comic book and you didn't know anything about Spider-Man, you would assume that this was a comic book about a guy who goes around evicting people.
So like they've like all their stuff has already been moved out into the street, but all the books are still in the bookshelf.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Like there's the globe that's still on the shelf, right? They literally just picked everything up and moved it outside.
Yeah, they
Yes,
got some
they did.
buff dudes.
Like there's nothing like
Well-
boxed up.
The landlord, it's not, so they own their condo, but some dude in prison who is pissed at them bought it out from under.
Right. I guess
everyone?
they had a non-binding agreement with the actual landlord, and so he has terminated the agreement. And apparently there was some sort of whole thing where he was trying to kidnap Peter Parker. I'm sure it's some guy who turned into like the Chameleon or some supervillain,
Yep. It was
some animal-based supervillain.
It was Topher Grace turning into Venom.
Ooh, boy, what
using
a
his
misfire.
using his that 70s show money to work for him by buying property.
That was rough. That was a rough movie. Sam Raimi didn't even want Venom in it. He didn't like Venom. He didn't think it was good, and that's what happens.
Yeah, Venom's kind of like just too complicated.
It's just like, yeah, it's there's a lot of backstory with him. Like you got to lay a lot of ground, and then he's not really that great of a character anyway. Once you get him, so who cares?
Yeah, I
But
guess.
kids like Venom.
Yeah, he looks cool. They liked Carnage for the same reason. Carnage is stupid,
Carnage is really not a great character at
but
all.
it looks cool. Good
He
enough.
does
The
look
Marvel
cool.
method.
Yep, the Marvel method. He looks badass, true believer. Well, that was Tom McFarlane was very transparent about when he would write his. He got to launch his own Spider-Man book about a year after this, and he was very transparent that the only reason he was writing that book is so that he could pick what monsters he got to draw.
Mm-hmm.
That was really his motivation.
Hey,
He just
good
wanted to draw
good
monsters.
for him.
It looked cool. I'm not gonna. If you look at those Todd McFarlane books, they look cool. But yeah, the storytelling is terrible, both narratively and visually. He can't tell a story in any format. But he has some cool visuals.
Mm-hmm.
So they're on the street, and Aunt May, I guess Mary Jane put up all the money to actually buy this condo.
Yep, Chad,
Yeah.
Peter Parker.
Chad, oh God, Peter Parker is
He's
pathetic.
got a super hot girlfriend, and she's paying all the bills, stripping.
He says that. Well, she's a model, not a stripper
Okay.
necessarily. There's a
OnlyFans.
clear distinction.
She's an OnlyFans model,
Someone's never heard about editorial modeling.
right?
So Peter Parker says, well, I'll try to get some work selling photos.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary Jane says, oh, you take more pictures of Spider-Man, huh? Because guess what? Everybody's seen Spider-Man. He's out in public all the time. We're in the city with like the Fantastic Four and everything. Nobody gives a shit. Why don't you take some pictures of the Statue of Liberty too, you fucking tourist?
Why don't you start
I'm a
your OnlyFans?
She doesn't say any of that.
She's thinking it. She's got to be. I would be thinking it if I were her.
Yeah, she's a super hot lady. She's like, I can just get a rich guy.
Why? Yeah, like he keeps. I don't understand this whole like. Well, I'll just take pictures of myself as Spider-Man and sell them to the newspaper. Well, how many pictures of Spider-Man do they need? They live in.
Well, I think it's because it's implied that he's the only one that's getting pictures of Spider-Man.
Still, how many times?
You think he'd have more money then?
You'd think he'd have more money, but also, why is he the only one getting pictures? He's out in broad daylight every day.
I guess I like you'd think like newspapers and CNN and whatnot would like pay him top dollar for that stuff.
The first couple pictures, sure.
Yeah.
But they've got the Fantastic Four in this city. Like it doesn't matter. Spider-Man is nothing.
And the X-Men.
Are the X-Men in New York?
And the Avengers. I think they're mansions there.
Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares about any of these people?
There's a lot going on in that city.
Yeah, this is probably why he's broke, because his photos are going for less and less because there's so many other superheroes.
And yet none of them could have prevented 9/11.
None of them.
Nope.
None of them. They made Dr. Doom cry.
Yeah, Dr.
Yep.
In the dumbest panel in comic book history.
He's so sad about those towers.
Because he was going to knock him down. That was his thing.
That's right.
Now I'll never be able to do
Damn
it.
you, Dick Cheney.
No, I can never 9/11 New York.
And Reed Richards is doing a bunch of math about how jet fuel can melt steel beams.
He'd be a cute guy at this point.
Instead of any of that happening, Peter Parker tells Aunt May that they have some place to stay, but they don't, and that's just so he doesn't have to move back in and feel like a loser.
Well,
He'd rather live on the street than feel like a loser.
Shea is not a guy.
I will tell you. Well, Shea, would you think twice about that if you were in that situation? Would you think twice about moving back home?
If I was well, no, because I've never lived in the same town as my family.
Well, but I'm saying hypothetically, if you were in Peter Parker's shoes, but you're a woman instead of Peter Parker, you still got those tight buns, but they're female buns.
Absolutely,
you'd have no problem. See, it's a tough thing for a guy.
Yeah,
I would really, because I had a little bit of time, a couple points in my life where it was like, oh God, what am I going to do here? Like I was thinking about maybe having to live in my car for a little bit.
I've lived in the car and I've gone home to mom and dad a bunch of times.
Yeah,
because I fucked up.
I haven't had to do it, luckily. I staved it off, and I think I finally might get away with it.
I think I've done it like 3 or 4 times.
Well, it's a little too late for me now. I can't do it. I don't have the option anymore.
You're right. You're screwed if you ever fuck up. All that if Bitcoin continues its downward trend, you're screwed.
No, Elon's going to tweet something. It's going to go back up. Don't worry about it. It's going to be fine.
That guy.
It's going to be just fine.
Yeah. This also isn't permanent.
Moving back?
Yeah.
It's not permanent,
Sometimes
but it's still
it
while
is.
you're there. Sometimes. But while you're there, it just still feels bad. You don't feel like
No,
you're
I mean Peter
accomplishing
Parker.
anything.
Like it's because it's fucking Christmas. Let's get past the new year and then you find a new place.
You think his big concern would be like, how many supervillains know who I really am?
Yeah, there's quite a few.
It's like, aren't they just going to come to my house and fuck up my elderly great aunt?
And Shea, you make a good point. Like it's not because he failed. It's because there's some weird financial scheme with a crooked landowner or a landlord that's really booting him out. So he shouldn't feel that bad about it.
What a timeless comic.
No. This isn't relevant anymore. This is a snapshot of a past era.
What?
Everyone's doing fine. Shout out to Cook County Sheriff Thomas Dart, who refused to kick people out during the Great Recession.
Yeah.
Local hero Thomas Dart.
And now we're in the Great Recession. What number is this?
Because
we just started one.
This isn't a very great recession.
It isn't great yet.
Not yet.
We haven't started one. I think a recession is characterized by 3 consecutive periods of negative GDP.
Right. I'm pretty negative about the GDP.
Yeah,
you guys are nerds.
Yeah, I'm a financial nerd.
No, I'm not.
With enough in my IRAs, I don't have to move back in with imaginary parents. Then we. That's a lot of stuff piled up there.
Imaginary parents got me, dog.
Yeah. Well, so then we flash over to a department store called Herdlings, which is owned by a dude named Howell Thurston III.
Yeah, you get that? Do you guys get that joke?
Yes.
Because he's Thurston?
No.
Thurston Howell III is the name of the rich guy from Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
Oh, is it really? I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh, shit. Was he a good guy in Gilligan's Island?
I mean, he brought like $10 million with him.
Right.
But
What
that
did you think was
doesn't
going
do
to
anything
happen?
for you on a
Yeah.
island.
He had like a bunch of treasures that he brought with him on a 3-hour tour.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
was
what
he?
you mean. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he was up to something.
Yeah, why do you have all that money with him?
He 9/11 that boat.
I love that he went to the one place where all his treasures would be worthless.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he just always keeps them with him. Like he won't ever be separated from them.
Yeah, they were all just so respectful to each other in that show.
I mean, for every Gilligan's Island, there's a Lord of the Flies
Yeah.
or Battle Royale.
Oh, I love that movie.
So anyway, we got this rich dude, and he's having an issue because he has to hire some security guards to transfer the receipts from the bank because Christmas Eve is on a Saturday.
You know what's crazy is like the plot is it seems like that his bookkeeper or his assistant, it was like a very Scrooge.
Clark.
Yeah, Scrooge and what's the name of Scrooge?
Cratchit. Isn't it Bob Cratchit?
Bob Cratchit. He's like a Bob Cratchit guy. If Bob Cratchit decided not to take any more shit and brought a gun to work.
Yes.
Yes,
And
this is falling down.
that is
Oh,
absolutely true. So
Like,
you got-
but we're supposed to like not root for the assistant. Like I want him to shoot his boss and like take all of his money.
well, he could. We see that he has been working on Christmas Day for 23 years without overtime, which presumably he was waiting for a year when Christmas Eve fell on Saturday. I don't know, but like the fact that he never made a decision to just leave this shitty job, I mean, it's kind of his own fault at that point.
I like how this comic there's a lot of moving parts. There's no clear cut good guy or bad guy, and the main plot is that Peter Parker needs a place to live with his wife.
Yes. Yeah. But I do want to be clear that our Bob Cratchit character Clark literally did bring a gun to work today.
They
He's
brought
got
a gun, and rightfully so.
Well, no, not rightfully so. You don't murder your boss.
Yeah, you do.
quit the job. You quit the job. You send him a shitty email and you steal some pens.
No, dude. One time I had a client owe me $90 and I threatened to burn his house down.
I have harassed the hell out of clients for not paying. I had one who kept saying that the check was coming. They were going to direct deposit it, this and that. And so one day I said, all right, and I may have even told the story before, but I don't care. I said, all right, well, tomorrow I'm just going to call you every single hour because you told me you're going to pay it by the end of the day today. So if I don't have it, I'm going to call you every single hour on the hour tomorrow. And they called my bluff. They didn't think I was doing it. And sure enough, I got up early and called them every single hour until like 2 p.m. when they got mad at me and told me, fine, will you just leave us alone? I'll send you the money right now. And that's how I finally got paid by that client.
Dude, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were terrible. They were terrible.
Dude.
You got to stand up for yourself. You got to send off a shitty email.
I just had a shady company call me because they got my number from like a call sheet and they're like, "Are you available to work?" And I'm like, "Oh man, no, not from you."
Is this a known shady company?
Nah, it's just like, one of them fly by night. We just started. We're trying to collect. We bought a call sheet from a company that like either went under or went to jail.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Dude.
You gotta be careful. So, all right. Anyway, they have decided that they're going to put their belongings in Aunt May's attic, right? And so they have to pay double the rate to get some hauling companies to come out on Christmas Eve and move up everything over.
Twice the normal holiday rate, too.
Twice the normal. Well, it's a last-minute holiday call, and they send out the surliest truck driver they can get.
I'll tell you what, though, the thing that's most unrealistic about this is when you evict someone, you don't just kick them out right away. Like you have to give somebody a shit
30
ton of
days.
notice. Yeah, like when Peter Parker just came home and all of his stuff was on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He should have
yeah.
called that guy's bluff about being litigious.
Yeah.
Well, it's a shady thing. It's a Trump property.
Also, he just calls Iron Man.
Yeah, it just knocks down the building.
You know, notice he never calls Iron Man and asks if he
No.
can stay at his house. He's
Right,
got
or the Avengers mansion.
right. Doesn't he know a bunch of super rich superheroes that
Yeah,
like
but he
could,
feels beta enough as it is.
I don't know, dude.
This is why he only asks people who are below him, as we'll see. But yeah, so they hire this surly truck driver. He's got a hat that says someone who cares, and then he's upset that Peter Parker doesn't give him a tip. But honestly, fuck this guy.
Yeah, fuck this guy.
You're already getting double holiday pay. But yeah, they transfer everything over, and Peter goes, well, I guess I should figure something out on account of being the man in the relationship here.
And she's like, hey, why don't you just call Tony Stark and get a house and a job?
Yeah, so I don't have to show my ass to strangers every day.
Yeah, and OnlyFans.
Yeah,
Butthole up that webcam.
if you're going to conform to gender norms, then you actually have to take care of your shit, Parker.
It's pretty funny that the webcam, the circle webcam looks like a butthole, and you're sticking your butthole right in front of it, and it's like the void looking back at, and who blinks first?
That's why webcammers were designed that way, to flatter buttholes.
And that's going to be how the world ends. It's going to create a singularity.
A butthole on butthole singularity.
Mm-hmm.
Ass to ass.
Yeah, a digital butthole, that sees all.
Oh, a metaverse butthole.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah.
The metaverse butthole, though, is the guy who owns Facebook.
Yeah, Jeff Zuckerberg, yep.
Jeff? His name is Jeff?
No, it's
Mark.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark
Although he doesn't
Zuckerberg,
own it anymore. He's a shareholder. I don't know what his role is.
Well,
but
whatever he is, his role is chief butthole.
Chief butthole in charge of butthole-related operations.
I want to have a Christmas dinner with...
He's the CBO, the Chief Butthole Officer.
I want Mark Zuckerberg. I want...
You want Jeff Bezos?
I want
and
Jeff
you want Elon
Bezos. I want
Musk?
Alex Jones. I want
Bezos.
Kanye
Trump,
West, but he has to wear
Jones.
his mask.
Yep,
I want Joe Rogan.
That right-wing dude that Kanye West brought to hang out with Trump.
Joe Rogan's going to be at the head of the table.
I thought he would be like the Jesus, and they'd do like a 12 Last Supper kind of thing.
With, what's the name of that other guy?
No, Jordan Peterson's the Jesus.
I was just about to do an
Oh,
impression
yeah.
of Jordan Peterson so you guys knew who I was talking about because I couldn't remember his name.
God, I don't know
You
what
gotta
his...
talk like a balloon that is losing air.
I'm not sure that I knew that that's what his voice sounded like. He's kind of
The
turned into a...
problem is that men.
He's got kind of a Paul Stanley thing going.
Yeah.
Same guy.
Hey guys, you ever have to deal with white racism coming on in your community, trying to push the white man out?
Did any members of KISS ever get set on fire?
Probably on accident.
I have to imagine.
Yeah, I mean on accident. Like thinking about them being covered in fake hair or real hair with hairspray and feathers
They're all
and
primped up.
It happened to
fireworks going off.
It happened to the singer from Metallica.
Yeah,
Oof.
but it just made him more metal.
It sure
It was
did.
the best thing. It was the best thing that ever happened to him.
It sure did. I'm sure he doesn't feel that way.
Well, he got he stepped too close to some pyrotechnics, burned half his body, and then like his roadie played guitar for a while until he could play guitar again.
And it was like a mega concert with Faith No More opening and headlined by Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses didn't want to follow James Hetfield being lit on fire, so they left and it started a riot.
Yeah, he was just sitting back there. I remember, I think it was maybe Lars or somebody was recounting it and saying that, everybody was literally rioting and Axl Rose is just sitting back there eating a sandwich.
He was smoking a cigarette because he said his voice hurt. He was
What
smoking
an
a cigarette.
asshole. Yeah, he could have came out there. That's what it says. Like, he could have came out there and played like a long show and saved the day and been a hero, but he just decided, nah, fuck this.
No, he didn't want to follow it. He knew that everyone would be talking about James Hetfield being lit on fire, but now they're talking about how Axl Rose started a riot.
I don't understand why one is better than the other.
Because they're talking about that. They're talking about the riot now.
Oh, it didn't.
Because if James Hetfield gets lit on fire and then Guns N' Roses comes out and tears the roof off the place, they're still going to be talking about James Hetfield being lit on fire.
It's better than looking like an asshole.
And you don't understand how this guy's mind works. Apparently, it's about who's talking about what.
I have prided myself on the fact that I am nothing like Axl Rose.
Like I understand. I'm saying I would do that, but I understand.
So James and I saw Kyle Kinane a bunch of months ago now.
Yeah, we did.
And he got lit on fire.
No, but a lady in the audience passed out.
Yeah.
And during one of the openers, and so it was a big deal and everything. And this is the equivalent of if then Kyle Kinane was just like, fuck this now.
He should have.
No. He came out there and knocked the joint down instead. It was great.
Axl Rose is extremely successful. Clearly, he knows what he's doing.
Yep, he was. He was many, many years ago.
They're still doing it. They're on tour. He looks just like my Aunt Kathy now.
Yeah, it's kind of pathetic. He can't sing the same. They haven't put out a relevant album in almost 30 years.
Hey, dude, he's the front man for both Guns N' Roses and AC/DC.
Did they bring him into AC/DC?
Yeah, he's the singer of AC/DC.
Good Lord.
What?
These guys are all just circling the drain at this
The
point.
singer, Brian Johnson from AC/DC, had to retire because he went deaf in one ear and he was about to go deaf in the other if he didn't stop doing the AC/DC shows immediately. So they're in the middle of a tour too, so they brought in Axl Rose to replace him, and now he's the permanent singer.
The next decade is going to be tough. You're going to see a lot of these old metal and hard rock guys dying off.
No,
it's
they're
getting-
not.
Yeah, they are. We're getting
Ozzy's
real
still
close.
alive. He's going to be alive in another 10
Ozzy's
years.
been dead for 25 years, Mike.
Right? The only person who died at an appropriate time was Lemmy, and he lasted way longer than he probably should have.
So Spider-Man is moping his way through a park, and he sees a mugging going on. And he has a moment where he just kind of bitches out and decides he's not going to do anything about it, and then decides, yeah, I guess I will.
He goes, you know what? These people of New York need to pull themselves up from their bootstraps and stop their own muggings.
From their tiny little thin-soled bootstraps.
Why does he have webbing underneath his arm?
Because it looks rad.
That goes
Can he
way
fly?
back.
I think it makes him glide a little bit.
He can glide a little bit. That goes back to the original Steve Ditko design. And then a lot of people just said, oh, that looks stupid, and they got rid of it, and then other people brought it back. I don't know if McFarlane was the first person to bring it back. But
I
it's been
always
kinda-
thought it looked
You know
really
what would
cool.
really make this costume better?
Yeah.
If it were all blue with a giant beetle on it.
Blue Beetle's
I
not
mean,
as cool as Spider-Man,
that-
dude.
That's better. Well, it's because not as many people have given that much attention to Blue Beetle as Spider-Man.
I like the first Blue Beetle, the guy who had the blue
Dan
chainmail on,
Garrett.
who just ran around and beat people up.
Yep, Dan Garrett, good man.
I was actually just referencing about how Steve Ditko created both and pretty much just created
Well, yeah,
DC
because
Spider-Man.
he didn't own Spider-Man, so he's just like, well, I guess I'll just make another one. No, Blue Beetle was not a DC character. He was a Charlton character.
Charlton, sorry, you're right.
So anyway, Spider-Man decides to leap into action, and he deals with this mugger, and he somehow ties him up in webbing that's lifting him 3 feet off the ground. This had to take a long time to set up.
Yeah, that, and he turns to the lady and goes, listen, you need to reimburse me for all that webbing I just used.
That was a lot of webbing.
All right? Can you, maybe get the police to pay me back?
I mean,
No,
he
she
needs
gives
something.
him macaroons.
When that
Macaroons.
mugging happens and Mary Jane, says, shouldn't you go stop that mugging? He goes, maybe you should call the cops.
Yeah, maybe if you model, you'll do something about it. Maybe a little modeling will solve this problem.
He goes, I know where I'm going to go stay, Black Cat's house.
Yeah, he gets super bitter about it and blames her.
As he should.
He's such a toxic male.
He stole her from, Harry Osborn, too. So, she's like a cheater. You don't marry a cheater.
No, he thinks he could change her.
Nah, bro.
He could change her.
Nah, bro.
So yeah, he gets some macaroons, which are delicious.
Not
That's
bad.
a fair compromise
Well,
there.
I constantly get confused between macaroons and then the other one.
Let's look up and see if macaroons are poisonous to spiders.
Macaroons. Well,
Well, there's
these
yeah,
are the
so there's
macaroons.
that, and
Oh,
then
what's the difference between a macaroon and a macaron? They're both made with egg whites, sugar, a few drops of vanilla, and a pinch of salt. However, macarons are typically made with finely ground blanched almonds, while macaroons are made with sweetened flaked coconuts. Both sound delicious.
Maybe you should look up, do spiders eat macaroons?
Well, I think it would be more about do spiders eat sugar would be the bigger problem.
That's not what I want to know.
Well, that's not going to yield any results.
It might. That's the fun of looking. What if it does?
Dude. I don't even. Oh, I hate the fact that this is even in my search history. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Do spiders eat macarons? No. There's no
it's
documentation
not called
of
a
this.
macron. First off,
I am Macron.
I went from the macaroons to the macarons.
Look, they got
Look.
they got spider shaped macarons.
Yep.
All right, that's good. And see, we now see how adorable they are. We wouldn't have seen that previously.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That was a great use of our time.
Thank you.
Make them for Halloween though.
Thank you.
So then we see that. All right. Here's the thing. Our Bob Cratchit guy has. He knows that his boss, Howell Thurston, is hiring some security guards to help transport the receipts from the store on Christmas Eve. So the Bob Cratchit guy has hired 3 goons, I guess, to abduct or rather take the place of the actual security guards. Right? And so then we see that the guys who are impersonating the security guards, they leave the truck depot in a hurry, and the office manager is saying that, oh, maybe I should call them because they didn't sign out, they didn't complete the paperwork. Maybe I should call Thurston and let him know that, hey, there's an issue here. But instead, I'm just going to not do my job.
Yep. Based.
That's his whole plot would have fallen apart if this guy just did his job.
also they're just tied up behind some cardboard boxes. They could
Right.
throw their body back and absolutely be seen at any point.
They're huddling for warmth.
It's a little weird because the implication here is that these 3 goons are really obviously not very good at this job, but they managed to kidnap the 3 security guards who are supposedly some of the best.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they did this with no problem.
Yeah, they're in good shape. Look at that guy. He's got his obliques.
Yeah, this is back when everybody...
Obliques.
Obliques. This is back when everybody wore white boxers.
Yeah, that never
Yes.
Nobody does that
happened.
anymore. Yeah.
Maybe in the
I never
mental
did that.
hospital.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
You didn't have a white boxer period?
Everything I own is black. Everything I've always
Jesus
owned is
Christ.
black.
What do you think you're impressing?
It's not about
Like-
that. It's because like if you have the same thing every day, you don't waste time thinking about it.
Or you can just, have a developed sense of style. Where
I
you
don't
have to
care
think
about
it.
style. It's just wearing a goofy
See,
costume.
that's why you feel bad all the time.
I don't
That's why you
feel bad.
on the
No.
inside.
Some people eat for sustenance, and some people dress just so that they aren't naked.
Yeah, I dress because I have to have black clothes for work, and I don't care about style, so I'm just gonna make my life easy.
No, man, you're making your psychology more difficult, though.
I don't give a
just
fuck about
more
my
to unpack.
psychology, bro.
No, it's clear. That is very clear. Anyway, back at the offices of the Daily Bugle, we got J. Jonah Jameson.
Played
right?
by Alex Jones
He does have a little bit of Alex Jones to him.
or Vince McMahon.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's got that nice Reed
Hitler
Richards
stash?
salt.
Oh,
He's got the Hitler stash, but he's also got the Reed Richards salt and pepper in the side. That looks good.
In one of the Spider-Man animated shows, they kept the J. Jonah Jameson Hitler mustache, but then they also gave him a soul patch, so it looked like there was an exclamation mark on his face.
Yeah, I think we discussed this before. I think we actually looked this up on an episode before. Yeah,
Yeah.
it gave him an exclamation look to his face.
Yeah.
Very cute. Very cute. So Peter goes and asks him, hey, you got any shoots? You got any assignments? And he goes, no.
What year was this?
This was 1989.
Where'd they gave J. Jonah Jameson a Hitler mustache?
Right.
Like, why?
I don't know. Well, he's had it since the 60s, I believe.
That's a Todd McFarlane choice.
Well, no, I'm sure Marvel required that he maintain the mustache because he's had the mustache since the 60s.
I know, but you can just give him a normal mustache.
No, it's
Why
it's
did
iconic.
anybody have that mustache?
Why did Michael
Chaplin.
Jordan wore that mustache for a while?
He was doing it for a troll.
No, he wasn't doing it for a troll. He was oblivious.
And
I don't know how.
it was also like a Nike commercial, and so it was like he personally profits from slavery, and he has a Hitler mustache on the commercial for the slavery company.
Well, I mean, if you want to be honest, we're all proprofiting off of slavery. so
I
he's
think
just
I say
being
that a
more
lot.
Transparent about it. He's just being transparent about it.
Yeah, he's not
So,
a hypocrite like the rest of us. The rest of us shit libs, feeling bad and not doing anything about it.
So JJJ tells Peter, yeah, I don't have anything for you. I don't even do that job anymore. I'm the editor. I don't worry about how many pictures of Spider-Man I'm getting anymore. I'm past that.
He's like, Parker, this is a newspaper. We're closing.
Yeah, we're done. We're done.
Go
enjoy this party. Yeah, there's a party out there. Go enjoy the party.
Like, please sub to my OnlyFans.
Then we have a sequence where Peter decides he's going to go around to the different people at the office and ask them if he can stay with any of them, but they're all terrible, terrible options.
Yep, and every girl there wants to fuck him.
Yes, there is an attractive woman, Joy Mercado, and she definitely wants him to come stay with her.
I bet.
But in a rare, wise decision, Peter decides that maybe that's going to make things a little too complicated with my wife.
You know, I gotta tell you, if I was Peter Parker, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be in committed relationships.
See, this is what happened to Animal Man in the 90s, is that Animal Man had to just tell his wife, hey man, I'm half animal. Like I'm not a human. So you can't expect me to be monogamous. I'm going to just knock up random women and not care about the babies. I'm an animal person.
Yeah.
And she just had to accept it.
Based.
Well, it was a pretty difficult sequence of events, but yeah.
but they got through it.
No, not really. They all had to learn to live together because I think I mentioned this before the podcast as well, but eventually that comic book turned into Animal Man deciding that he'd had it with people abusing animals, and he basically created a commune, or a cult, if you will, where everybody just had to come with him, and they would raise towns throughout the country, and if they didn't agree to his animal rights platform, he would just kill everybody in the city, and they were just raising terror across the country.
Based.
Yep, and his wife and his mistress just had to live with him on this.
You know, as
was weird.
I've messed with my diet a lot, and there are times now where I don't eat meat throughout the week. I used to eat at least some kind of animal product every day, and now I'll only eat meat maybe 2 or 3 times a week.
Well, I mean, I don't enjoy eating meat. I don't like that
I love
I'm
it.
eating meat.
It tastes
I
so
don't.
good.
If they can make a meat that is, it's better for the environment and it doesn't kill an animal and it's just as healthy for me, then sure, I'd love to do it. It's just that Impossible beef or whatever is terrible. It's not good.
They got the 3D printed meat where they're just growing animal cells and putting them together.
I want that 4D printed meat where
Yeah.
it exists in all times at once.
Yeah. 4D meat.
Yeah, 4D meat. That's one more D.
It's like a background billboard in a Transmetropolitan panel.
Yeah, keep the D coming.
It'd be like 4D meat.
You know what? He had in Transmetropolitan, they call them maker bots or makers, I think, and it was just 3D printers.
Yeah.
Like it's happened. Yeah,
We'll see that in our lifetime where everything will just be 3D printed.
I'm getting pretty close.
Like all of our
pretty
food,
sweet.
all of our clothes, all of our houses, everything.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, me too. Whatever makes so I don't have to go to work.
So here's another terrible page. So this is a page where Peter Parker is putting Mary Jane in a cab, and then he's going to see his friend Flash Thompson. Is it Thompson? Flash Thompson.
I thought you were just about to say, here's a panel where you see Peter putting Mary Jane in her place.
He puts her in a cab, but here's the thing. First of all, the first three panels, for no discernible reason, we only see the back of Peter Parker's head.
Yeah, but
no good reason.
Look at Mary Jane's peach of an ass.
Yeah, also, that's really kind of odd that it's there. And then in the second panel, he's going to the gym, but we can't really tell because the sign that says where he's going into is there's not enough room for it because he's got a no parking sign in the foreground of the panel for no reason. It does nothing.
Well, that
It's just there.
that way you know he's in New York.
Yeah, great. Nothing else. The trash bags on the side of the
And
road.
it says
didn't-
box wrestle and
Box wrestle
and
GG.
yeah, well, the beginning of gym. So you can
This is
put it together.
No, this is terrible visual storytelling. It does not
I'm leaning
progress.
towards Mike here.
All right.
Why would you put a no parking sign and let it take up valuable real estate when you should be spending that time seeing Peter Parker's face so you can get a better
right.
idea of his emotional state?
All right. This is
Because we know he's sad.
This is why they did that. Okay, they're trying to make because Peter Parker, his life is very fucked up, and he needs help, and the city seems very unwelcoming and cruel. So just to put icing on the cake, there's a big fat no parking anytime sign.
Yeah, that's what he was thinking. How about this? How about a shot from inside the gym, looking through the window, so we see all the text on the window, and then we can also see Peter Parker's sad face, and we get a lot more visual information. There's not a bunch of just extra crap thrown in there, and we don't keep looking at the back of his head for no reason.
Hey, we're not millionaire Todd McFarlane. He clearly knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
I
they
like this
sold.
art, and I have no problem with the layout.
I like the art. It's just the visual storytelling of it doesn't progress in a way that makes sense. There's more of this coming. It gets even more egregious.
And I'm leaning towards Shée.
Yeah, of course you are, because you're in cahoots.
Yeah. Bro.
Yeah, Peter.
So hard.
Peter goes and talks to his buddy Flash Thompson, who teaches kids how to kill each other. I guess.
I
Yeah.
thought he couldn't walk.
No, he's good.
I thought he was Peter Parker's bully in high
no,
school.
he was, and through his, but then he becomes a big fan of Spider-Man, and Spider-Man inspires him to be a better dude, and
Wow.
so he does all this charitable shit for people. I think he eventually joins the army after 9/11, and he loses his legs in Afghanistan.
Bam. That's what I'm
wow.
thinking of.
And then he gets the Venom symbiote,
See, that's what being a nice guy
That's
gets you.
right. Okay.
and the symbiote gives him his legs back.
Thank you, Mike.
Uh-huh.
So here, Peter goes to him, and before he can even tell him what the situation is, Flash is like, "Oh yeah, my apartment got thrashed a while ago because I was in a superhero battle, but you can use this room that I've been staying in the gym, and I'll just go hang out at the Y."
He wasn't in a superhero battle. He's just
It was some sort of battle.
He's just Flash Thompson
But-
who trashed his house.
I think I did check on this. It was some sort of fight with some.
I bet it was just
supervillain.
you never had like a pissed off girlfriend just trash your house.
No, normal people don't experience these things,
Bro.
Mike.
Bro, I've
People
had
with
some
high credit
doozies.
scores do not have people come into their house and just trash
Dude,
it.
I have a friend of mine who she flipped out, trashed his house, and then went out and fucked his car up.
Yeah, it's a Carrie Underwood song.
Bro.
So yeah, Flash is like, yeah, just stay in this room. It's fine. I'll go live in the disgusting Y. It's fine.
No, he's like, dude, you're my buddy. You can stay and you can stay in this
Yeah.
back room that I'm staying at, and I'm gonna go sleep at the Y next to Hobo Jim.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's being
And
a
Peter
good
just shakes his
friend.
hand and goes, thanks, I really appreciate it. And he walks away and
So-
goes, fuck you, Flash, you bullied me in high school.
Well, I mean, he's in no position to get even at this point. Nothing's going well for either of these people at this point.
No,
At least
Flash
Peter
is
has a hot girlfriend.
Flash does not seem to be bothered by any of this.
I don't know, man. I think those bullies, once they get out of high school and their life collapses, I'd like to believe that they just live in shame and sadness.
Most of these bullies, they probably have rich parents. Their lives don't collapse, and they go on to be dentists.
I don't think that's what happens. I do not think most
join the
bullies have rich
army.
parents.
And then become a gym teacher.
I grew up, nobody had rich parents where I grew up. So all the bullies were just different variations of poor.
We had at least somewhat middle class growing up, but to me, I thought they were rich.
Oh, yeah. Skewers.
Man, they had a computer.
I didn't have a computer for
and
a
a house
long
with
time.
stairs.
Yeah, I didn't have any stairs. I guess going into no, you know what? Growing up, I did not have a house with stairs. We had the crawl space.
Yeah, where your dad kept his weed and porn.
Yeah, it kept all his tires and windshields that he was going to use for something.
Hey, he'll never be wanting for those two things. Those are like two really expensive things to replace.
Clearly it worked out great for him.
He
Made a fortune.
So sold all on eBay.
No. So then we flash over to the department store and we see our Scrooge guy, and he's putting all the money he's watching the security guards put all the money in the van, and then our Bob Cratchit guy takes out a gun and puts it right against his boss in front of a crowd in public.
Yeah.
Dozens of witnesses.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's just going to shoot him and then himself.
I 100% have been conditioned by the state of the world and thought he was about to do a mass shooting.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. No, that would have been pretty bleak.
Yeah. Spider-Man's not there to stop him.
That is more...
I can't even get out the word. Mike, I can't even.
Oh, wow. She couldn't even. She tried to, and she couldn't.
This guy has a Christmas mass shooting, and Dr. Doom sees on his TV and cries.
He cries. A little tear goes down.
I don't remember this panel, so please tell me it was just like one tear on the mask, all of the Indian that's sad about recycling.
It really is like that. He's standing there amongst the ruins, and then we get a zoom in on his eye in the mask, and you just see a single tear come down. It's fucking dumb.
There's so many gross things about people's reactions to 9/11.
Well, Dr. Doom's?
I just mean like the comic book creator just saw like, yeah, it's so like fucked up. We're just gonna have Dr. Doom see it, and even he's gonna be shaken about how bad this was against America.
Yeah, it probably shouldn't have been literally 9/11 in the Marvel Universe. It should have been some sort of alien invasion or something, because it's just 9/11 wouldn't even be a big deal in the Marvel Universe.
What about the mutant genocide?
Yeah.
What about that? They built death bots to kill a marginalized group of people.
How many times has reality been torn apart in your universe? Who cares?
If anything, the mutants would 9/11 something to get back against the Sentinels.
Oh boy, those Sentinels. Terrifying.
The X-Men have more in common with Al-Qaeda than they do with the United States military.
X-Men have not done a great job of justifying their existence.
Hey, they have a whole new country island they live at. They're immortal. They're all in poly relationships.
So, speaking of a mutant who's not doing as well, Spider-Man, Peter Parker,
who we agree is a mutant.
He is a mutant, but other mutants would dispute that because he wasn't born a mutant.
Right? Racists.
Yeah, there's a real issue with that in the mutant community.
Yeah, he's a flat scan. That's the hate slur mutants have against normal people.
Flat scan?
Yeah, they're called flat scans.
No, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, that was a 90s hate slur they used.
So here, as is often the case, we've got Peter Parker looking at Uncle Ben's tombstone, and he looks over, and there's Bruce Wayne looking at his parents' tombstones, and they lock eyes and they laugh.
He goes, "Peter, hey, I hear you need a place to stay. I'm looking for a new sidekick. You got to wear this." He shows him a Robin outfit. He's like,
I was about to say, Robin walks by like, "You guys are here too?"
It's a Robin outfit that's been retrofitted to fit a dog, and then it's been retrofitted to now fit a human.
And he goes, "So I got a mask for you. I got off of this guy named Kanye."
You're not one of those from birth mutants, are you? I don't like those. As a rich, waspy guy, I don't care for that.
Like in the DC comics, we call them meta-humans, but it's the same thing.
We just really wanted mutants in our continuity, and we came up with a way.
Right?
I can't blame him. I can't blame him for
Fuck
doing that.
No, that was such a phenomenon. Like, come on, dude.
You gonna not have mutants in your universe?
All right.
You want to fail? Come on.
Wasn't for mutants, we would never have gotten the career of Hugh Jackman.
Well, what I do, the distinction with the mutants in the DC universe is that a lot of people have the gene, but you usually need to have an event that triggers it. Otherwise, you just go through your whole life and you never manifest any mutant
Like
traits. Or
Spider-Man.
metagene
Just like
traits.
Spider-Man.
Well, but Spider-Man was bit.
All right, but that was the thing that affected his...
But before he was bit, he didn't have that gene.
We
He
don't
wasn't
know that.
predisposed- Well, I guess we don't.
He's called the non-mutant.
It says it right on the cover.
I know, but that's because they're racist against how he got his powers. He's still a mutant. He was mutated.
He was a regular guy until he got that. With the DC metagene people, they have the gene, but they might go their whole life without ever manifesting it.
I hope I saved that meme I made about how Spider-Man's not the right kind of mutant.
Yeah.
Hopefully I could
bad kind of
could
mutant.
throw that back into YouTube because hopefully I saved it.
So then we flash back to the scene on the street where our Cratchit character is holding up this dude. And here's another example of poor storytelling. Because first of all, we see that there's another security guard, completely unrelated to this whole thing. He's a good, honest security guard, right?
Yeah.
And we see that he notices that the Cratchit guy has pulled a gun, but we don't see that he's saying, we just see an up close of the gun and then a thought balloon that says, hey, a gun. We don't know that it's coming from the police officer. We just have to infer.
Well,
it.
it's not a police officer, it's a security guard,
Or
and
a
no
security
security guard is going to pull their gun. Like there's no way he's going to risk his life for minimum wage.
Fair. Well, that's the writing in general. Like you can be for or against that. That's
Everyone in this comic takes their job very, very seriously.
Well, except for that guy at the depot that decided not to call on his negligent security guards that he sent out.
So I don't know what Cratchit's plan is because he's got a gun out in public with all these people around. Like, how is he going to get away with the money if everybody knows that he did it?
Yeah, there's people everywhere. There's people watching everywhere.
Like, they could see his face.
Now look at this. In the next panel, and I realize this is not going to come across in a podcast very easily, but put some of the examples on YouTube. In the next panel, the security guard has gone from being 50 feet behind the Scrooge character to being 50 feet in front of him. How'd he get over there?
I don't know.
Right?
He's a mutant. He teleported.
He teleported.
You can only teleport once a week.
And then in the next panel...
The angle switches.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Look at the building in the background. The building is the same.
He's the angler. That's his power.
He's the angler.
Santa's behind this. You're right. The Santa stays behind the whole time. I'm sorry.
Yep,
Yeah.
the Santa stays behind. And then one of the bad security guards in the course of one panel somehow went 50 feet back and grabbed the Santa and held him hostage. How
Yeah.
did any of this happen?
I don't know. It did.
This is what I mean. This is the problem with
Okay,
his
I
visual
got to give you
storytelling.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah.
But
Why grab the Santa? And they already have a hostage.
Yeah, they got the owner. They got the rich man. The Santa
Yeah.
ain't rich. I'll guarantee you that.
He's not.
Yeah. But the individual panels look great. I do like them.
Well,
It's
why?
just-
Because he's a communist.
What?
Santa,
Huh?
because it gives away everything for free.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's not how you make a profit, Santa.
Well, you got to be a good boy or a good girl all year.
That's what that
So-
Mel Gibson Santa Claus movie is
And
about.
no tattoos.
Yeah. Yes. You can't have any tattoos. He doesn't care about it, but it's not good behavior.
Like all the years of giving away toys, and now Santa's and his elves are broke, and he has to convert his outfit into making weapons for the government. That's what that movie's about.
It's because Santa is powered by the good behavior of children. So he doesn't need money. He needs good behavior from children, and that's the trade-off. He's actually a capitalist. He's only going to give you the amount.
I don't know. Ernest Saves Christmas taught me that Santa is powered by just the spirit of Christmas and also that he's skinny.
Well, okay. I will say that then, the kids being good is the spirit of Christmas. So he is only giving you presents commensurate with how good you have been. That's a free market exchange.
Because he said that if he didn't switch over being Santa by 7 o'clock that day, that the Christmas spirit would die completely.
Shée,
so kids wouldn't be happy anymore.
That's just the Ernest movie. The real Santa is in the comic books.
That seems like real life. Like Santa died and now all the kids of the world are just not happy.
I mean, quite honestly, he seemed to be implying he was getting dementia.
Santa was?
Yeah.
Santa's just losing touch? Well, he's an old
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, exactly.
He hasn't taken care of his body. That's for damn
Is that
sure.
your favorite Santa Claus movie, Shée?
No, I just saw it yesterday.
What's your favorite?
Answer the question,
What's your
Shée.
favorite movie about Santa Claus?
That's not the Santa Claus.
No, it's probably that claymation one.
Nightmare
with
Before
Mickey
Christmas?
Rooney.
Oh, the one where Santa's the ginger and he
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Oh, you're not a Christmas Story fan? Was that the name of the movie? What the hell is the movie?
A Christmas Story is
Christmas
it.
Story.
Yep. I think
But that's not a huge Santa movie.
They just
I'm
made
thinking specifically Santa.
sort of. He says, "You'll shoot your eye out, kid," and he puts his boot on the kid's face.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan of that Santa.
I am.
It's a pretty base Santa.
No.
He's sending good messages, but he's also making sure that you got that message.
Mine is that.
Oh, and quite honestly, an Elf at Asner Santa is great.
My favorite Santa movie is the Mel Gibson one where he makes weapons for the government.
Oh, that's where you got that plot.
Yeah,
that's from that man. I can't remember the name of the movie though.
Movie.
Fat Man or something?
Maybe it is Fat Man.
Yeah,
That
something
movie's
like
great.
Fat Man, something like that.
Yeah. The best part is Mel Gibson uncanceling himself.
He and Dave Chappelle have just decided they will not be
He
canceled.
never apologized for any of the things he did either. Not at all.
He said and did a lot of
Yes, he
like.
did.
I don't think he did, bro.
Did he?
I think he just waited out the storm.
No, he did a whole that's not me.
Yeah, it is,
You know
bro.
what? No, he did make that. He did make that statement because I remember saying that. I remember criticizing that because he was saying like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I was just drunk." Like,
No,
being
no.
drunk doesn't make you anti-Semitic. Like
It just makes it so you say what's on your mind.
Yeah, that was such a horseshit excuse. Like, I'm sorry, I realize that alcoholism is a real problem, but it does not make you a different person. It just unleashes what you already are.
Why can't
Mel
he be-
Gibson's a horrible monster.
Why can't Mel Gibson be more like Kanye West and just own it? Let's look up if Mel Gibson's ever been on Alex Jones.
I can guarantee you he has not. Well, I guess I can't guarantee you.
He's been on Joe Rogan.
Oh, look, Alex Jones has some criticism of Mel Gibson on Twitter.
I don't
so
want to hear
they're
any
probably gonna get
criticisms
together.
about Mel Gibson.
He says, "Oh, look, another Mel Gibson movie I'm not going to watch." So, yeah, I don't think he's a fan.
There's a guy who uncanceled himself too, Alex Jones. Doesn't he owe like $1 trillion and he's just not gonna pay?
Well, then he's going to have consequences. Like, people got it in for him. He's going down.
I
he's
don't
pretty much done.
think anything's gonna happen to him. I think he's just gonna keep on going. Those families will never see any of that money.
I don't know, man. It looks real bad if he doesn't go down hard.
I don't think he's gonna, bro. He just had Kanye West on his show. Clearly, he's doing great.
Alex Jones would be a good Santa Claus.
Yeah. Oh
He's just
yeah,
like-
yeah, he would. I
Wait,
tell
Be
people
a
this.
drunk Santa Claus.
I tell people this before. Like, if Alex Jones didn't go down this path of like trying to trick rubes into, believing a bunch of nonsense, and he just became a Twitch streamer and he just plays like Call of Duty all day, yelling at people, I think he would not have made as much money, but he would be beloved in the culture.
Yeah. Probably be a lot happier too.
I bet I would be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty happy with how all that turned out.
So anyway, here's the deal. The crooked security cop decides to take Santa as a hostage, and the Cratchit guy decides to make off with the money. Now, here's another thing. I don't know what happens to the Scrooge character. He's just standing there? Like, we don't find out. Visually, we're not told if he just stayed there in front of the store or if he was taken hostage as well.
Why was he a hostage at all? Why didn't you just shoot him in the office and then go commit the crime? And that way no one has to see you do it.
Or not, he didn't have to do anything to the guy. He already had his security guard stealing the money.
Yeah, what was he doing?
Hey, he just needed a little-
What's anyone's point?
He needed his pound of flesh.
I guess you just shoot him in the office when you were alone.
Yeah. I don't know what this guy... Well,
Poison
this
his
is clearly-
coffee.
This is his first murder. Like, he's not going to get it right the first
Yeah,
time.
he's a pencil neck geek.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to do this. He just fantasizing about shooting up a school.
So, this armored car speeds off with Santa as a hostage. Then we get another confusing panel where Peter Parker is looking at his Uncle Ben's tombstone. Did I say that right?
No,
Uncle Ben?
it fell
Nope.
apart in your mouth.
Yeah.
And he gets kind of sad, and then he has an evil grin, which
Yep.
also does not fit the
Yeah,
narrative. I don't know
very
what that's about.
confusing. with that grin.
Because he killed Uncle Ben.
Almost as if it's not good visual storytelling.
Because he
but then-
wanted to fuck Aunt May. Because it
And I know this-
was sexy Marissa Tomei.
Oh, she's a beautiful
Aunt
woman.
May, and he wanted, so he killed Uncle Ben so he could fuck her.
I know it's been brought up before, but how is Aunt May like 70 years older than Peter?
So in the comics, it is his great aunt, and they decided to
Okay.
make her sexy in the movies, so it's just his normal aunt.
She's a beautiful woman.
Yeah, she's a beautiful woman. She's like 60.
Yeah, she was I think she was like 50 when that started, and yeah, she's probably pushing 60.
Dude,
but
still
yeah,
looks great.
Good for her. Good for her.
Great actress, too.
Yeah, she's very talented. Great lady. She seems like a nice person.
Thumbs up to Marissa Tomei.
And she was going to fuck
friend of the show.
She was going to fuck George Costanza.
Yes, there was a moment. He really wooed her by not being
being
phased
by being so bald and so quirky.
by not being phased by stepping in manure.
That was a different lady.
No, that was Miss.
No, that was a different lady. Because
When they were walking down the
then
park?
she lied about having a boyfriend after he said it. That was a different
What the
lady.
hell?
For a pretty terrible guy, George Costanza pulls in some pretty good women.
They all do. The whole show.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
bu-
Elaine
they're
makes
ev-
sense. She's a beautiful person with a real job.
No, she just fucks David Putty.
Well, he can make it happen. He can drive it
That
home
guy's
in bed.
sexy.
He is sexy, but Jerry and George and Kramer, they should not be pulling in what they're pulling
Like,
in.
she's never going back to Jerry after having David Putty.
No.
That's Patrick Warburton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of the tick, yeah.
Dude, that guy's getting you pregnant.
Yeah, just by looking at you.
No, just by talking.
Like, yeah, bro.
That
Yeah.
voice.
Right? You just record him
Yeah.
and then turn the bass up all the way and then sit on the speaker.
Mm-hmm. Like in that Howard Stern movie. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that in Private Parts? Yeah.
Yeah. I might have jacked
Classic.
off to that as a kid.
Yeah, probably.
It opens with boobs.
Yeah, as all good movies do.
Uh-huh, the best movies.
Yeah, that Ben-Hur would have been a lot better with a couple.
All
of,
the Spider-Man movies would have been better, that's for sure.
just
They're
with,
all bad, all of them. It's crazy. They've
Ah.
made like 9 of them.
Well, they have made the original trilogy, and then they
Bad.
made the 3 new trilogies, and then the 2 between them. So that's 8. And then if you count Civil War and
Civil War,
Endgame and
Infinity War.
That's 9, 10, 11.
Uh-huh.
I think that's
Well, the new
11,
round didn't do
plus-
full trilogies, right? There was
What?
there
didn't?
was original there was Raimi's, and then there was the 2 with
The
Andrew
Webbs.
Garfield.
Yeah.
Directed by a guy named Mark Webb.
Yep.
And
Did
then
pick for his name.
That's why they picked him. Yeah,
pick
for
a person.
sure.
Yep. And then there's the Holland trilogy. Yeah.
but I thought Holland only had 2 movies.
No.
There's
they had
3.
3.
Yeah.
There's 3 plus if you count Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. And
Yep.
then you count the Spider-Verse movies.
Yep.
All right.
And then you count my fan films
Yep.
because those are good.
You know what? They are.
A lot of good cameos.
Yeah, I'm in it. As
Yep.
me. As J. Jonah Jameson. And I wear the Hitler mustache.
And the Phantom Lady costume.
No, separate character, but she's in it.
And I
And I'm
cut
playing
in
it.
scenes of Marissa Tomei stripping from the wrestler
Thank you.
as Aunt May in my movies.
Thank you.
Yep. So anyway, these guys are going to drive the armored car through a cemetery because why not?
Because
And
it's awesome.
it happens to be the cemetery that Uncle Ben is buried at. So Spider-Man swings into action.
Yeah, and the truck crashes into his tombstone, and Peter Parker just blacks out, and then when he comes to, everyone around him is dead.
Just a massive rage, just a spider rage,
Yeah,
going into spider rage mode.
yeah. And then that's when he learns that just killing all of his enemies is such a way better way of dealing with stuff.
I mean, I think the thing with Spider-Man is all his enemies tend to be just like buddies of his that he wronged. So if he kills his enemies, all of his enemies' buddies are just going to become new enemies.
if he's in trouble, why doesn't he just call Nick Fury and just say like, "Hey, I need a job at Shield."
And can I stay there? Can I sleep in the headquarters
I'll
for a
just
while?
be Spider-Man for you.
Yeah,
he
I'll
goes,
wear a dumb
all right,
outfit."
will you kill a bunch of people? He goes, dude, you should see what I just did at this cemetery.
J. Jonah Jameson gives me 20 cents for every fucking picture of Spider-Man I bring in.
All right, it's like a Spotify royalty.
Yes. So anyway, Spider-Man goes and he beats up all of these fake security guards. Fake security. And
and there's a very iconic pose
Yes.
from Todd McFarlane.
he does a completely unnecessary pose. He gets down and crouches and says next, but there's nobody conscious around, so he's doing this for himself.
His hands covered in blood.
He should be getting a picture of this one.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to want to sell this one to JJJ.
All right, but he's freezing because it's just a spandex outfit.
Yeah, his feet are really cold in this.
All right. You think he'd have a long john version of his costume?
Maybe he can adjust his body temperature like spiders can.
I thought spiders just died when it got cold.
Oh,
And
maybe
just
they do.
And they explode when it's hot.
Do
They are
they?
not
do?
made for this world.
Is there
Yeah,
a
spiders will explode
video?
in the sun.
Let's watch a video of spiders exploding.
Sure. Spider exploding. Exploding
Not with babies. I don't
Yeah.
want to see it explode.
Look, we're gonna
with
get what we
babies.
get. We're gonna get what we
No,
get.
exploding from the heat. You gotta be. Yeah, that's what you.
Well,
want.
I didn't think there would be so many.
There you go.
Spider invasion.
Yeah, I've seen a spider explode from being pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they could kill. Maybe I'm wrong, but let me see.
All right.
Maybe
Spider-
you just mean that they'll explode with the babies when the spider gets
There
like
you
in
go.
the fire, so a bunch of will come out.
There you go. Smaller spiders explode when heat.
Yeah.
To kill a spider. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, yep. You can kill. Apparently, nobody thought to videotape that though.
Yeah. Well,
Nobody wants to see baby spiders get killed. They only want to see grown-up spiders get
I
killed.
want to see the whole species go extinct. I hate spiders. I'm not a
Yep,
bug guy.
That won't upset the ecosystem in any
I don't
way,
give
shape,
a
or
fuck
form.
about the ecosystem, bro.
Wow.
You
That
don't
is
give a fuck about a lot of things. This
Hell
episode.
no.
Mike has some real Ted Cruz talking points here.
Ted Cruz based.
You ever see when the Republicans would go like, we have to protect this like tiny little fish that swims in this one sea, and they would try to emphasize that like, what could this possibly matter? Who cares if this fish goes extinct? Completely not understanding that other bigger fish are eating that fish. There's a cycle.
Ted Cruz is not based though. Donald Trump called his wife fat and he didn't do nothing about it. So he's
Oh
a
my
bitch.
God.
He's a
What?
bitch.
Oh my God. He rolled over and defended the guy who called his wife ugly.
Remember, like they did that campaign ad against Ted Cruz, and it was this fucking no nonsense older man. He's just like, "What do you think about that, Ted?"
That oily motherfucker. Oh my
Like,
God.
yeah, dude, tried to abandon the state when like his
The
policies,
storm
yeah,
hit.
his policies wrecked their electrical
He tried to leave the
infrastructure. And
state.
he tried to get
And
the
he-
fuck out.
And he grew a beard, and it looks like he's just put on like a fake beard from the $5 store.
Dude, he grew out his hair and then like shaved the state of Texas into the side of his head.
I want that to be very true.
Does this story seem possible?
Let's find out if it's true.
All right.
Let's find out if it's true.
Ted Cruz shaved Texas head. Okay. Look at this slideshow here. Okay.
What the hell?
What is he? Why does he have like a Billy Ray Cyrus thing going on?
I don't know.
What did he do?
Soon to be on Dark Side's couch.
Why? Yes. Actually, I will mention that it's probably not going to be till after our surprise event next month. But I do really want to do that Billy Ray Cyrus comic that a friend suggested. Yeah, Ted Cruz shaved part of his side of his head.
Oh, maybe
Like
it was.
he's-
You know what? It's that image. I'm guessing that the Texas thing was a meme.
Yeah, that was
That would
probably
make
a
sense.
meme. But
Yeah, but I thought he
Holy
legit
cow.
just did it
why did he shave the side of his head anyway?
because he wants to get. I don't know. He's just trying to look cool for his son.
Is he playing bass in Extreme?
You should see his son.
Nah,
that
I don't
motherfucker
think-
looks
I
like.
probably have. I probably blocked it out.
He's probably a cool guy, but goddamn, his genetics are bad.
So the armored truck crashes, and Spider-Man sees the Bob Cratchit guy, and he goes to confront him, and he goes, "Well, you got to leave me alone because it's Christmas."
And Spider-Man sees that he's a nerd and rages out on him.
Yep.
Yep, nerd on nerd rage.
No, the homeless Santa kills him.
Homeless Santa, who was in the truck, it wasn't exactly clear that he was, but he was, and he comes out and he smacks the dude on the back of his head with a sack full of toys.
All right, and a sack full of money from the
You know,
robbery, and both him and Spider-Man split it up.
Well, a sack full of money's not going to knock him down. You do see dollars flying everywhere, so it's unclear to me. So I
No,
don't
it's
really
a
know what
sack. It's
happened
one of the
here.
money sacks, and he cracks him in the side of the head with it. That's a
Yeah.
lot of weight.
I mean, I guess he's got crazed Santa rage. So he can really swing
Spider-Man
that.
and
He's a big man.
Spider-Man and the Santa should split the money.
Yeah, they should take it. This would really solve all of Spider-Man's problems right here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Money buys happiness.
yeah,
It
right.
does.
Like when is he not supposed to take the money? Like, what the fuck? Like the guy who they're stealing it from is a piece of shit. Like Bob Cratchit just had enough, so
Well,
he
because
like
the-
decides to take his destiny into his own hands.
See, the-
Homeless Santa needs money. Spider-Man needs money.
The money's not going straight to the guy who owns the company. He's got employees. They're the ones who are going to get screwed on this.
I don't give a fuck about those employees. Get your
Apparently
money,
you don't.
Spider-Man. Libertarian Spider-Man. That was a great series of
Libertarian
memes.
Spider-Man was a great Facebook page.
Yeah, I wish that was still around.
It comes back periodically.
It's
but not
been
often
replaced
enough.
with Moon Knight Core and Charlton posting.
Lots of good memes. So then, after this is taken care of, Spider-Man goes back to Uncle Ben's grave to
You were
to mope
so
some more.
fucking close, dude. You almost have it.
You got to be in my head, man. You're gaslighting me on this pronunciation thing. And then we have a good panel. I love this panel out of context where Spider-Man is standing behind a tombstone, zipping up his pants in shame
Yeah,
while
no, he's
Aunt
not.
May
He's
is
just-
standing.
He's just hanging out.
His eyes are a little closed. It's a little shameful.
What do you think those are? Corduroys?
No, those
Nah,
are flat front khakis. Flat front
Khakis?
khakis. Yeah.
Khakis
Yeah, I got a
aren't
few of
good that
those.
time of year, though.
No, it's not what
No.
he should be wearing by no
No.
means. No.
You need a nice hardy jean with
Yeah.
some long underwear underneath.
Yeah, some stretchy jeans. Oh yeah.
Maybe the costume X is long underwear.
I fucking love long underwear. I look forward to colder weather just so I can wear long underwear every day.
I don't have long underwear, but I do have some tights.
It's
I do have
like-
Spanx for men tights.
It's like wearing your bed all day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to work up a sweat, but it's great for going out on like an outside run for
Yeah,
sure.
you're going. Yeah, it's all you need. You put a hoodie on. You got your long johns, and you just go run.
Yeah, I look like I'm dropping off a bomb in a mailbox for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and if you're like me, you are.
Yeah, you might
James
just be doing.
James won't leave the house in sweatpants.
Why not?
I do have a because
Because
sweatpants.
it's shabby.
It just says that you're a loser.
Unless you're
Like-
a girl, because you don't have to try if you're a girl. There's always someone's going to pick up that garbage.
Man, women in sweatpants, it's a beautiful thing. I say that in a non-objectifying way, only in an empowering way.
I was
I
just
don't
about
think
to
you guys
cancel
understand sweatpants because usually sweatpants aren't tight.
Oh God, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, aren't I?
If the female,
Well,
If
I'm
the-
wondering if you
if the
guys are
female-
confusing it with like yoga pants.
You're right. You're right. Yoga pants are even better. But the sweatpants, even if it's, you know what? I shouldn't even say this.
I just want
No,
to.
I should-
I want to during the winter. I want to wear skins of a wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna,
Nope. We're gonna back up. Beep beep beep.
Yep. I'm gonna get myself
Beep
out of this.
beep beep.
I support
What?
women dressing however they feel is appropriate.
No one got my Seinfeld
The beep beep
reference.
beep was backing up. It was the car backing.
I know, and I was
Beep,
Sein- and I
beep,
and I was Seinfeld being upset that you did that because that's what he did in the show. Because
Oh.
George did that to him. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Bottom line is, I support women doing whatever they think is best for their lives.
There we go.
And I think
Yeah.
everyone should do as I say.
So Aunt May is in the cemetery, also talking to Uncle Ben's grave. He's having a busy day for a dead man.
You were a lot closer in your last uncle.
yeah.
Uncle.
That one was bad.
Yeah. Okay.
That was
To this day, you guys won't tell me
That
what
was
it
good.
actually is.
Uncle.
What am I
Uncle.
saying?
Uncle.
On.
Uncle? You think I'm doing
you
with
sound
an
like
O?
you sound like a Norwegian person.
Yes.
trying to
It sounds
say
like you're
uncle.
saying an O as
First of all-
opposed to like
First of all, Norwegians are badass.
And you put
So
and
let's
it's,
start with
and
that.
it's like you're the C in uncle is like you're spelling it with a K, like a hard capital K.
Well, I do have a hard K in my name, in my full name. So maybe I'm just predisposed to use that. I'm a
That's
Polish
true,
person.
James.
So my name is just a big mess of Polish vowels piled up on top of one another. So I guess it's just my DNA.
It also means because you're Polish, it means you can work 3 jobs and never sleep and party harder than anyone else.
Yeah, because we're mules. We don't understand pain.
I love the Polish people
Yeah, they're good. They're good people.
And
They gave us punchkis.
and the people of Mexico.
Ponchkis.
I like
It's
them
punch.
too.
It is punchki, Shée. Don't even. I grew up right outside of Hamtramck. Do not try to tell me how to pronounce punchki.
I also like the Greek people.
I
a lot.
said it to be obnoxious.
The Greeks?
I like the Greeks, the Polish,
Yanni? Oh,
and
yeah.
the people of Mexico.
Yeah. I love and respect all the peoples of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Man, yeah, I just covered up a lot of ground there. I made up for a lot of mistakes.
Yep.
Um,
I thought,
Every band is great.
I thought you were gonna like jump in to say like, you know who I really like? The blacks.
I like everybody equally except for those bad people that we all agree are bad.
That's why I was saying the people of Mexico instead of Mexicans, because when you say Mexicans, it sounds like you're explaining something racist.
Yeah, it does sound like an
So
insult.
you say the people of Mexico, and it sounds it sounds
the proud
it's-
people of Mexico.
it sounds like they're Atlanteans. Of course, if you see the Atlanteans in the latest Wakanda, like Black Panther movie,
Wakanda
they are the
forever.
people of Mexico.
Wakanda forever, I'll tell you
I'll
what.
tell you what, I'm the Black
Oh.
Panther.
Speaking of, I do have this leftover from when I made those Hank Hill sound drops for the Kickers episode. I did have one that I didn't use, so I'll throw that in right now. Here, we got this one.
Those dang comic books are rotting your brains, Bobby.
He's
good.
right. That was really good.
Yeah.
That
Nice
sounded
work.
really, really good.
Very, very relevant to what we do here. And so then we got one more example of poor art, where Aunt May is explaining to Peter that she goes to Uncle Ben's grave every Christmas, but she never told Peter growing up because she didn't want to ruin his good time on Christmas morning.
He didn't wonder where Aunt May was on Christmas.
No, he's too busy playing with his fire truck.
There is a panel here where it looks like there's someone who
Yes.
plays Aunt May throughout the
Yes.
day wearing an Aunt May mask, and then
This is the
they
problem.
pulled it off and put it on a coat hook.
This is weird. There is a panel of her face, and we can't see her eyes. They're sunken in eyes. We got to put this on
'Cause
Twitter, YouTube.
It's
whatever.
like a mask they would wear in heat when they have to go
It's-
commit a crime.
It looks like a panel out of Sandman.
It is horrific.
Yeah, she
And
looks like Sandman.
she looks like Morpheus. Yeah, it doesn't fit. And this is not what we should be seeing. It does not move the story correctly. If you didn't have the dialogue telling you what was going on, you would assume she was doing something evil right here.
How was that show?
Sandman, it was very good. I just finished it.
I didn't give it a chance.
Well, look, I don't relate to Sandman as much as certain other comic books. I respect the hell out of it. I understand its significance, but I never connected with it in that way. So it's a little hard for me to really evaluate it from there. But I do think that if you are a Sandman fan and you watch that show and you don't think that it's at least faithful and respectful and loving as a tribute to the comic, then you're just being difficult. You're just being an ass. It's clearly the product of a lot of love.
I don't know. It's the Sandman it works best as a comic.
Most comics do.
And it's like, well, I mean, Preacher did a good job transitioning to TV. It's just like Sandman is just, it needs to be a comic. I don't know. I'll watch it one of these days. I still have to check out Doom Patrol and all that other stuff.
Doom Patrol, best show on television.
You guys sold me on it. You guys liked it
I
so
love
much
Doom
that
Patrol
I'm
so
going to
much.
watch it one of these days.
I love Doom Patrol. I get the feeling this is going to be the final season that's starting. Well, we'll have already started by the time this episode drops, but I'm very excited. I'm very excited for one of my favorite comic book crushes, Space Case from the Gerard Way run of Doom Patrol. She's a cutie. I'm very excited for that. It's going to be great. It's
The
a great
only
show.
comic book show that I'm watching currently is Chainsaw Man.
Are you going to tell us what that is?
I'm just going to let that sit.
So imagine what Chainsaw Man would be, and you'd be correct.
A man made out of chainsaws.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes, you got it.
Yep, a chainsaw man. So Peter says, "Oh, I'm kind of being a little bitch all my life, aren't I? Maybe I should think more about other people's feelings."
He's like, yeah, the old woman who raised me and then I abandoned now wants me to come home. What if it was Aunt May who caused them to lose their condo? What if she was the
she wants them
mastermind
back.
behind it? That's why she looks so sullen.
Well, he only moved out because of that old person stink. Like, he just didn't
Well,
like
his
it, or
reasoning
else rough.
his reasoning was that like I don't want to get Aunt May killed when the hobgoblin blows up my house.
And he will. Oh boy, will he!
But then he'll wish her back by calling Mephisto to give him a wish.
Oh boy.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, that was Brand New Day.
Yep.
Yeah, that was not
which was written by.
Isn't that what they just did with the latest Spider-Man movie? Is like he wished that nobody knew who he was.
I don't know, man. I don't watch the Marvel movies. I've documented this. I haven't seen them since like Phase 1, but yeah, there's something to do with like a giant retcon.
There's some
or
good
something.
ones. Like every other
Dan
Marvel movie's
Slott.
pretty good. Like every other one.
Oh.
Like
Dan
I liked
Slott,
everyone
Guggenheim.
said Black Widow was terrible, and I liked it a lot.
I mean, whatever. Who cares?
Some of them are good.
I'm running out of steam. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just part of the problem is the community of these Marvel movies, of the fans. They make like these little cutesy, like fanficky memes of like all their favorite Marvel superheroes hanging out and like funning and making each other sandwiches and stuff. And it's really cringy. It's really, really uncomfortable and stupid. And I can't support anything that continues to prop up that cottage industry.
So when like the Spider-Man and his wife got kicked out of their house, they thought about staying with family, and Peter Parker brings up that Mary Jane has a cousin who wants to fuck him.
Yes.
And here we now see her, and she's 14.
Oh, is that her?
That's her. That's the
Oh,
cousin
yeah,
who
excuse
wants
me,
to
Christy.
Yeah,
suck.
she looks very young.
Yeah.
What was her name? What was Barbie's sister?
Oh,
Skipper.
This is
Skipper.
this is the Skipper, like
So-
because Mary Jane's Barbie.
Yeah, Mary Jane is 25, so she's on her way out.
Yeah, she's done, and Spider-Man's
And
already looking at the new model.
She wants to be transitioned into the body of her younger cousin. Yeah, she looks like a 15-year-old version of Aunt May. what we're looking at. Creepy.
Not Aunt May, Mary Jane.
Mary Jane.
Not Aunt
Well,
May. We don't know what Mary Jane looks like.
I'm still thinking of Marissa Tomei. That's all.
Damn, she's hot.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Damn.
What a great person. Friend of the show.
Yeah. She will be after she obviously listens.
Yeah, she'll be on one of these episodes.
So complimentary of her career.
Marissa Tomei, if you want to be on the show, you can be on any time. You can kick off any one of us and take our microphone.
Yeah, we'll
Just let us know.
We'll for sure replace Shée with you.
I'm cool with that.
I'm pretty sure Shée still stays on the totem pole. I think most people can tolerate her a lot more than us.
But no, Marissa
Disagree.
Torme.
Tomei.
Torme?
Torme.
No, it's
I
Mel
wonder if anyone-
Torme
Has
and
anyone
Melissa
done a mashup
Tomei.
of Mel Torme and Melissa Tomei?
Or maybe, we can't even say it. It's my uncle.
Yeah, this is getting... Okay,
Tomei?
Wheels are coming off. Okay.
Tomei.
This was the last page. And
Merry
Peter has
Christmas,
to
everyone.
Peter has to very quickly get away from cousin Christy and pretend like he still is in love with Mary Jane. So they
What he
kiss.
did was he took her to the back closet and fucked her real quick and then came back in and kissed his wife.
Oh, he's thinking. Yeah. Oh,
What
I
the
thought.
fuck? Didn't you guys literally just say she's
And
15?
he's kissing her with that pussy juice on his mouth.
What
He's
the
a-
fuck?
He's a Spider-Man, Shea. You can't hold him accountable to normal human morals.
Right when you step on him, a bunch of baby bugs crawl out of this
He's half
squished
spider.
body. Yeah.
He's half spider. Spiders don't have age of consent.
She's not 15.
She's got to be younger than Mary Jane, though.
Yeah, obviously that's
Which
what makes
is-
it better.
All right. And then there's a touching message about how the love is in the house, and then we get a little note saying, "Everybody come back. Venom will be here next issue. We promise."
Yeah, where were you? Yeah, we should have did that one.
Yeah, don't worry. Well, that's probably not a Christmas one.
This was so they made this comic in April, right? Because they had the April date, but it came out in February.
No. That's just the cover date. It came out in I don't know.
In February. I looked it up.
Did
Oh.
okay. Because the cover dates are not the same as the street dates.
Right, but the street date was in February.
Oh, street date is the cover date is April. Okay, yeah. Then the street date may have been actually February.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes they fuck these things up.
It's like Darkseid's couch.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh, well, no, but we stay on a schedule though. We
I
get
know,
things
but
out when
we're
they're
always a
supposed to.
little off on the holidays. Either we're too late,
Well, it's hard.
or we'll do a Thanksgiving book after a Thanksgiving book.
Well,
Yeah.
in fairness, we didn't know that was going to be a Thanksgiving book. The Barbie book came up on the wheel, and we didn't know it was a Thanksgiving Barbie book.
God.
There was another-
I was going through the holiday choices, and one of the Spider-Mans, the other one was it was like the cover of Terminator 2, except Terminator was Santa Claus.
All right. So what do we think of this?
It was cool. I liked it. I like
Right.
Spider-Man's doing Spider-Man things while dealing with normal everyday problems.
It's a filler issue, Shay. Shay's
I enjoyed it.
yawning. All right.
Yeah, that's what she
Shay's
thought.
review was a yawn followed by some faint praise.
It was okay. I don't really know a whole lot about Todd McFarlane Spider-Man comics,
Yeah.
so it was cool.
Atomic Front Spider-Man comics look really cool. They're very horrific. Like he used a lot of horror villains. This is before he had his own book. So these are still written by David Michelini, and they're a lot more lighter. Whereas when Tom McFarlane got his own book to write and draw, it got a lot darker and it wasn't very well written. But
Yeah,
it sold like hotcakes.
not knowing what the hell's happening in Todd McFarlane stories. When you said that reminded me of the Spawn animated series, where it's really cool, but you don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, but that's kind of by design. That's because it's so shadowy and dark. This is just him
No,
not
I
knowing
mean
where to put his
just like
camera.
nothing's explained. Characters will
Yeah,
pop in and
it's
out.
cryptic.
Yeah, like you don't know what's
Well,
going on.
The Spawn comic book is that way too. The Spawn comic book, I don't know what happened to it. I dropped off after like 120 issues, but there were a lot of times where they would introduce something that seemed like it was going to be a big deal, and you would never see it again.
Yeah, it's like an AEW wrestling angle.
Yeah.
Well, I'm dying to know what you ranked it, James.
Oh, well, I mean, I thought it was a solid story. It was good art, except for the fact that it was confusing narratively. So, I mean, it's a filler issue. It's 3 out of 5 surly movers. They're not getting a holiday tip for sure. Too surly. Too surly.
That last one, I'm pretty sure was like getting a handy.
Well, I mean,
That moan
surly
was
guys.
not surly. That moan was relaxation.
They're
was
irresistible.
That was when you
All
really...
those clips came to us courtesy of Pornhub.
No, that was the last one. Was when like you let out a fart and your stomach stops hurting.
All right. Well, that's a sign that it's time to end the episode. It's time to end the year.
Yeah.
And it's time to talk about what we're doing next time.
I think because it's been a year and it's going to be January, we can
Yes.
say we can let Superman come back.
Superman is coming back. It's a month of Superman books. We're going to do a whole month. I think we're doing them weekly. I think we're doing
okay.
a whole mess of them. I think we agreed to this a while ago.
All right.
It's just become difficult now,
Yep.
but we agreed. Yeah, I think we're going to do a whole month of them. So we're going to take our normal 2-week break, and then I think we're going to hit a bunch of Supermans right in a row. It's going to be great.
Yep.
We need to come up with a fun title for Superman January. Shée, you're usually good with that. Come up with something on the spot.
Yep. Right now.
For Superman January?
Superman January.
Or, we'll just call it Superman Returns.
New Year's Kent.
Wow, that's actually really good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Was that good?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I mean, under the pressure, I can't.
Yeah,
I'll
right.
take anything under the pressure.
Right.
All right, so we've got a whole wheel full of all kinds of things. Some dumb shit that Mike pulled. In fairness, I also pulled some dumb shit, but I also pulled.
Most Superman comics are dumb.
Well, most of them are great, and I did throw in there's a blue Superman and electric Superman one I threw in there. We'll see if it
Sweet.
comes up.
Sweet.
I think they're all going to be appropriately silly. We've got some action comics. We've got Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane. Those look problematic. I'm really worried about those, hoping they don't come up.
Those are the ones I want.
But we're gonna let the wheel decide. And of course, as always, we're gonna listen to some spinning music while we do it. What do we got? Wow, that's vocal pop group The Manhattan Transfer. Round and round we go. They're pretty hip.
All right.
Yeah, whatever. I think they did a lot of Christmas stuff, so it's kind of appropriate. White people doing hip hop. Sounds great.
I didn't want to say.
Always great. Always great when white people perfect hip hop.
That's fine.
All right, let's spin it and see how we're gonna kick off the year and kick
Like,
off
are
Superman.
they
off.
like white, or are they like Eastern European or
I think
Greek
they're
or something?
pretty white. They sound pretty white.
Mediterranean.
Okay, Superman number 162. This is an old one for sure. I actually don't have the master grid right here, so we're gonna have to go through. Oh, okay. I think this is one of the ones I picked. Let's see. Superman 162 from 1963.
Oh no, I picked
And-
this one.
Oh no, this was a Mike one. Yep. Why are we looking at this? What is this about?
I don't know.
Let me
what
see-
I,
let me
I don't
see-
know
let
what
me
I.
see if I
I don't
got
know what I
the-
wrote in the grid.
Let me see. I'll go back to the spreadsheet and see if I can figure out what this was. Superman 162. It says Superman turns into two people and solves all problems.
All right.
That's not super insightful. Yeah. So we've got this. It's funny because I mentioned the blue Superman of the 90s,
Yep.
and
But now we got
blue
blue
electric.
Superman of the 60s.
I think this was actually a reference to this because at the end, towards the end of the blue Superman electric saga in the 90s, he split into a blue and a red electric Superman. And I think that was at least visually coming from back when there was a blue Superman and a red Superman in the Silver Age.
It's like when the NWO split up.
Yes. Mike always relates it back to wrestling. It always goes back to wrestling every time. But yeah, we see blue Superman and Lois, and they have a couple of blue super kids, and they're looking at a TV monitor where red Superman is enjoying his red super family.
Well,
No.
blue Superman seems to have married Lana Lang, and red
Yes.
Superman
Oh.
seems to have married Lois Lane.
Lois.
Right. And Lois Lane dresses a lot less conservatively than Lana Lang
Well,
does.
that's because they're on Krypton.
All right, that's looking good.
Mm-hmm.
And Blue Superman is asking Lana if Lois Lane regrets marrying Superman Red.
Mm-hmm. And she
And
goes,
becoming-
"Fuck Superman Red." And he's like, "Yeah, you're right. Fuck that guy."
Can Superman Red and Superman Blue, like, is it all right if they kind of like,
Swap wives. It's changed costumes and swap wives for a while.
yeah, I mean, who cares? They're the
Hey, who
same
cares?
person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, why
And they
not?
can move at super speed, so it's not like their wives are gonna know.
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares?
All
So it looks like Red Superman got custody of the dog.
He got Crypto the Super Hound as well, yeah.
And hopefully Batman and Robin don't show up to take him on an adventure.
Say Superman.
Put his underwear on his head and
Yeah.
go.
We have a door that needs opening. and
We
We, just
need a-
can't figure it out,
We
goddammit.
need an amazing dog.
All right, so that's going to happen soon. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of a New Year's break, and then we're going to come back with that. And we're going to hit the ground hard running with Superman number 162 from 1963. It's going to be great. Shea, What do you have for us?
Okay. Well, listen to our episodes with your imaginary parents on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any other podcast app that you can think of. And be sure to subscribe to us and rate us. Plus, you can listen on darksidescouch.com and tell us how to say macaroons versus macarons versus the president of France.
And you can tell us how poisonous they are for spiders.
Yes, at Dark Sides Couch on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on our YouTube channel at Dark Sides Couch.
Yeah, that's all of it. All right, that's it. That's the end of the year. Go home, everybody. This was dumb. Trash it. Anybody got any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Nope.
Happy all the holidays.
Ta-ta for now, Christian Crusaders. We'll talk to you next time on the couch.
Talk to you next year on the couch.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can.
I gotta focus. I'm shifting the soup mode.
Oh, God.